to the Downtown, brought to you by Arlington Citizen Media. I am Daryl Smith Jr., and across the internet for me is...
I am Rody John, and to my right is...
Amy!
On this week, we talked to Rob Lopez from Old Cocktail Lounge about the history of the bar, Governor Abbott closing down the bars, and what the future is going to look like once they're open again.
And we sit down with Jennifer Hurley from Arlington Foodies about the farmers market, the co-op, and what she's been doing during COVID.
What have y'all been up to? Well, you know what? Y'all have really been up to some stuff. Y'all did a nice interview session.
We did.
Recently. Talked to a bunch of people. Look forward to that, hearing about it. I helped set it up.
You did. Thank you very much for that.
And then I got out of there because of COVID.
You sure did.
But y'all wore masks.
Yes, referred to you as COVID guy.
Yeah.
I ran into that guest, actually, and he called me COVID guy, and I laughed at him. And I said, don't you ever call me that again. No, I'm just kidding. I was just like, yeah, that's me. It was a lot nicer than I made it out to be just now.
Yeah, we had a really good time. So we've got a lot of great interviews coming up with local business owners and hopefully someone from the school board that's very important.
Yes.
Lots
of great musicians.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great musicians.
And people supporting the music scene.
Mm-hmm. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did y'all eat anywhere, do anything interesting? I know I have not, so.
I had brunch it's not a locally owned place, but I went to Social House in, it was at Champions Court, what do they call it? Over north of 30 off College.
Champions Circle?
Yeah, it's Champions something.
Champions Park?
Possibly.
Champions Dog Bowl? I don't know. It's probably not that. It's probably not that one.
Social House. I've heard of this. What did you eat?
I had they call it the brunch, and it is, yeah, exactly.
I'll have the brunch, please.
Can I have the brunch? Yes.
Yours makes sense if you were like, I'll have the brunch. That actually is probably the way you would do it.
The brunch? What is the brunch, Rody?
It's fried egg, bacon, tomato on top of sourdough bread.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds really good.
And their potatoes are great. We also had a carafe of mimosa, which is fantastic.
Who's
of course?
Myself and my friend who works for Special Olympics.
Oh, yes. Wonderful.
Oh, nice. Always a good time to have mimosas.
Yes. Shout out to Michaela there.
Mm.
I didn't do anything but go to the grocery store, so that's all I got.
I also did that.
Yeah, I did that too.
I just did pickup though, because again, I'm the COVID guy. So.
You really are like the COVID guy.
But guess who don't have COVID? This guy.
Well, Rody also doesn't have COVID. Proven.
He didn't have it as of 2 weeks ago.
Right.
But I did actually get tested. So there's
I may have had it. I could have had it.
Okay.
I think we did have it in November.
I got that O positive blood, so maybe it just ran right through me.
Can we talk about that for a minute? Because Rody's mom came over and said something about that. What is this?
What is what?
The blood type.
Oh, there's just some. I don't even know if it's like. I don't know if there's been any peer-reviewed scientific studies or anything, but I think there's some speculation that people with O positive blood type don't. Either their antibodies work better towards this, or it doesn't hit them as hard for whatever reason. And that, I think that's, we've only been dealing with this thing for 6 months. So like, you don't really know what you know until you know. And that's what science does, right? Like,
then you know.
Right. Exactly. Exactly what he said.
Because, I have A positive blood, and now I'm kind of worried.
I've been tested, and I will probably get a test again in, I'd say, 2-3 months. We'll see how it goes.
Good. Great.
But Arlington does provide free ones. Go to, I believe, it's one of our past episodes, but I believe it's still arlington.gov.
It's arlingtontx.gov.
Okay. arlingtontx.gov, and you can find out there how you can get your free test.
Yeah, please do that.
am here with Robert, the owner and proprietor of Old Cocktail Lounge. How are you today, sir?
I'm good, Bubba. How are you?
Doing well.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks for coming on. So, what's the history of the Old Cocktail Lounge?
Okay, so the Old Cocktail Lounge has been here for 2 years.
Okay.
June of 2018
Right.
Is when we first opened up. Prior to that, it was a CNC's
Right.
bar. I think Charlene had it for probably well over 20 plus
I
years.
was going to say it was an Arlington staple for the ever.
Very, very long time. Then she lost it. It went vacant for about a year. Rob Kindred, the previous owner, bought it, reestablished it, kind of redid the whole place. After about a year, he came to me. I was bartending for him. He came to me and said, I think you'd be good at it. If you want it, it's yours. I made him an offer, bought it. I've had it for a year.
Yeah.
So we've been here for 2 years, going steady. It's been a great place. Great patrons, great regulars.
Right.
It's your typical local dive bar setting.
Right.
Great people come in and out. It's very diverse.
Right.
I believe in the local live music scene.
Yes.
So I was having live music every Friday and Saturday nights.
Yep. And then your open mic was Thursday nights? Is that right?
Open mic was Thursday nights there for a while.
Right. I've definitely come in on some of those. And so who did you have hosting it? Because he was amazing.
With Jeremy. Jeremy Norville was doing it for a while.
Okay.
And then that kind of teetered out, unfortunately. And then basically I just stuck with, just doing the live music on Fridays and Saturday nights, and then I would try to throw something in there during the week,
right?
Whether it be like a local happy hour type deal. Don Penley would usually come in, and he's a local artist.
Okay.
He'd come in and do like a little country happy hour for my daytime regulars.
Nice.
He's phenomenal. He was still doing it till the day they shut us down. So,
right.
But other than that, it's just all around. It's a nice spot. The weekends are pretty happening.
Yeah.
The thing I love about the Cocktail Lounge is that you're going to get your mixture of crowd.
Yeah.
So you're going to have your old timers, your old school. Then you're going to have your younger generation coming in, and then you're going to have your middle. My age,
right.
30 to 40 year olds.
Yep, I'm in that range too.
And they mix well together.
Yeah, it's a good bridge of you're getting the old timers telling those old time stories, but then you got the middle ones like us that like, oh, I remember some of that, and
right.
then you got the younger ones that don't remember any of it, so they're learning as it's like a trickle down effect.
Yeah,
almost.
Trickle down effect. And then with the amount of local music that I have coming in.
Oh yeah.
I get it to where everybody enjoys it,
right?
Not just one particular group. In regards to age range,
right?
It's just very diverse. So that's what I really love about it is that you can have different age groups, different cultures, different whatever your background is. When you come to the Old Cocktail Lounge, you feel wanted, and you feel like it's a home away from home, and that's what I've always wanted to do.
Yeah.
Being in the industry, just to have it to where it's your getaway.
Yeah.
You come here to get away from the everyday rustle and tussle of work, whatever's going on in your life.
Right.
Here you have a friend.
Yeah.
So that's what I love about it, and that's the way I hope to keep it going. Even though all the local dive bars are in the situation that they're in right now, being shut down.
Yeah, because Division Ice House actually permanently closed, didn't they? Which used to be the Golden Nugget.
Yeah, used to be the Golden Nugget. They did permanently close. Jules and Simon decided to do something else, so it's now going to become a hookah lounge, from what I understand.
Oh, interesting. Okay. There's not really one over here, except for, I guess, in DWG across from
I think it's
Campo Verde.
Yeah. So they were supposed to open July 1st, but obviously that got pushed back with what's going on. So as far as them revamping or going to reopen, I don't know the date on that yet.
Okay.
So, but that's what that's going to become. Then we have Pearls behind us. We got Stumpy's. We got Tonstoffel. Just a bunch of great local. It's like a dive bar scene.
Yeah.
I think the only thing really missing on this side of town is kind of like, when you go into the old part of Arlington where you have all those bars there.
Right.
Jay Gill's. Twisted Root, which I think is no longer there. You got Hooligans.
Yeah. Cool Kegs over there.
Yeah,
too.
Cool Keg. All Cartel. Grease Monkey. All that. Mellow Mushroom.
Right. Four Kahunas. Yeah. If you want to count. I mean, they're bars, but
if we could get that established on this side of town.
Right.
And then kind of merge it with that side of town, it would just be like one big strip.
I've been thinking the same thing. That I think they're hopefully. I mean, it is my hope anyway. They're working on that end and then bringing it closer to this side.
Yeah.
Even though I don't know why you wouldn't work on both ends and then try to meet in the middle, because this side is kind of underdeveloped, and these are very, these are historic dive bars. I mean, you don't think of dive bars as historic, but that's exactly what they are.
I mean, they've been here before majority of those places in downtown Arlington were even open.
Right, or even thought of.
Yeah. I mean, so there's a lot of history here to a certain extent from a dive bar perspective, but at the same time, people are unaware of it.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why they really don't trickle down to this side of town.
I can see that.
But as a bar owner, it's our job to put our establishment on the map,
right?
Push it, get it out there, do what we can to kind of let everybody know, hey, this ain't the only part of town you can hang out in. Come down a little bit more this way, and you'll get the same amount of excitement and the same amount of treatment that that you would at any of the bars on that side of town.
I think so too. Plus, who doesn't like dive bars?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's always been my. It's always been my forte.
Right.
So even when I was in college and in my early 20s, it was always dive bar.
Right.
Dive bar. It was nothing fancy.
No.
I think the fanciest bars we went to back then were Beer Paretti's, Sherlock's back when it was way back when it was
I do miss Sherlock's
bumping.
Yeah.
Even the Oyster Bar.
Oh yeah.
I mean that was our normal hangout, and then we dabbled down this way, and then we hung out at Caves, hung out at Sunshine, all through that area there, and that was back. Oh God, that was late 90s.
Okay.
Early 2000s. I mean that's how long ago it was. I mean it may not seem a long time to some people, but I mean it was my college years. So but yeah, it's always been my I would prefer a dive bar before going to a mainstream corporate type.
No, me too.
Type
bar. I'll check it out just to see what it's like, but you're not. I wouldn't feel home being at those kind of bars.
Yeah. So it's like you're just another number coming through the door. But at a dive bar, you get that homey feeling, and that's just what I've always loved about it. I've made some great relationships. Mm-hmm. I've met some great people, old timers. They're the best.
Yeah.
I've heard some stories that just about everyday life, things that you would not even think to be a part of because it's just a different time.
Right.
So yeah, I've met some great people. Unfortunately, I've lost some along the way, but that's the business part of it.
Well, that's life too.
It's
really.
life too, yeah. But me being able to develop a relationship with that individual and become like great friends, that's probably the best thing about a dive bar. Yeah. You meet a lot of great people, and unfortunately, with time, they sometimes they just life. They move on.
Yeah.
But you have those memories to remember them by.
Right.
And that's something that I've always enjoyed.
That's great.
Being able just to meet people.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, that's the best, is genuinely meeting people, hearing their stories. Because you never know what stories people have in them until they either get going or something triggers it, and all of a sudden they got that great story.
Yeah. And we've always had that here, and like I said, we've always looked out for everybody that walks through the door.
Good.
I've driven people home that couldn't drive home. I've Ubered numerous people numerous times, but if you go into a bigger bar, they're not worried about your well-being. They're just worried about the dollar.
Right. Once you're out the door, it doesn't really
matter.
Yeah.
I mean, here it's like a home or it's hospitality. I'm gonna look out for you. I mean, you know what? We have drinks together. I can make sure you get home safe.
That's good.
That's how it is. That's how it should be.
I think so too.
But it's not at every bar.
Right.
Just your local dive bar, I think. But yeah. So I mean, hopefully the doors will open soon. We just got to keep pushing.
Yeah.
Hopefully something will change. I know everybody's safety is a big concern right now.
Yeah.
But I think we'll eventually figure something out. I hope.
Yeah.
Either if you're gonna either shut it all down, or just open it all back up. And if you're gonna open it all back up, put some precautions in there.
You're right.
I know some bars were not following that, but that's not every bar.
Exactly.
I think from an OCL standpoint, I did everything I could. We had everything blocked off. We had everything sanitized. We did everything that we could. And then when he enforced the mask thing, we didn't have that opportunity because he shut us down the next day.
Right. Yeah, I was going to ask. So Governor Abbott, obviously, once this all started, it was all kind of shut down. Then it was able to open again. And then all of a sudden, kind of out of nowhere, Governor Abbott was just like, nope, bars are closed again. How did you hear about it? And then, obviously, what precautions are you taking forward?
Well, we were open. We were closed on March 18th.
Okay.
We were shut down until May 22nd.
Right.
May 22nd, he reopened. Mm-hmm. We were at 25% for first 1 to 2 weeks, and then after that, it went up to 50%.
Right.
Now, these were just for bars only that were not serving food.
Right.
So it was strictly bar.
Yeah, because restaurants were 25, then 50.
Yeah, and then they went up to 75.
Right, they went up to 75.
So we were 50%, and then I got the text message. I have an alert on my phone, local news, and it was on Friday. He announced bars had to be shut down. He announced it on the 22nd of June. Bars had to be shut down, or I'm sorry, the 26th of June. Bars had to be shut down by noon, which realistically we open up at 11.
Right, you got an hour.
Yeah, I mean you really can't. No need an opening.
No.
So I'm like, well, you kind of threw a curveball at us on that.
Yeah.
You could have at least give us a day notice.
Thank you.
And then he comes out with the numbers, and he's like, well, numbers spiked after we let the bars open, and then what? Then he comes up with an excuse. I should have hesitated on opening back up the bars. And that's fine, but at the same time, you had a lot of chaos going on.
Yeah.
You had the protests, you had the rioting, the looting.
Well, there were more protests. They were mainly peaceful, but there were a couple.
There were a couple.
Yeah.
But during all that, I could pretty much promise you, maybe less than 10% were wearing a mask or being 6 feet apart.
Right.
There were some that may have tried to do the best that they could adhering to the policies, but a lot of them weren't.
Right.
So could that have been the spike? Maybe. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. But
well, it's funny. Most people now do think they are scientists after this whole COVID thing. So.
Yeah, and it's if you want to shut just the bars down, and the bars, when he came out with this closure, he put two things. He put bars and tube rentals. Those were the two things he shut down.
I almost think the tube rental thing was, obviously, we had 4th of July weekend coming up, so they didn't want anybody down on the river trying to float the river, which, again, I don't know how that would have affected COVID, but I'm not a scientist, like you said.
But they still win.
Right, exactly.
So And then I found out, okay, so you can go to a gentleman's club. They're open. BYOB.
Which they're not standing 6 feet away from you, I almost guarantee you.
And then there's some clubs probably that, I think there are some clubs that are still up and going.
Right.
That are still running. But I don't understand why you have to discriminate against just bars.
Right.
That's what throws me off.
Yeah, that one didn't make any sense to me either.
It didn't, and I don't think he's ever been a big bar supporter.
I guarantee he goes to some though.
Oh yeah. And maybe he just thinks that everybody's going to make it financially, and unfortunately, it's not. You
right.
know? A lot of people are not getting the help that they need. Luckily, I have a day job,
right.
So I'm able to pay the bills on my personal end, but then I also got to turn around and pay, you know, the bar business, the bills there.
Right.
So it gets stressful sometimes, but you know what they maybe he doesn't look into the finances, the financial part of it, but you know, per the state comptroller, it's every city loses $1 million a month, has lost $1 million per month during the COVID shutdown
right.
in sales and liquor tax.
Yeah.
So think of all the cities in Texas. If you're going to shut us down for 3 or 4 months,
right,
that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money that you're losing.
Mm-hmm.
So is he in a tough spot? Yeah, he's in a tough spot.
Of course, they're all in it.
But be fair to everybody.
Right.
Don't just discriminate against one. You know, it's going to come to an end at some point.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, like, let's say you're in a county that has not even 10 cases total or anything like that. And so their bars are completely shut down, even though everyone's doing everything they're supposed to be doing, and they're not. I mean, the numbers aren't there. So it doesn't quite make sense why you would just blanket statement, all bars closed. Because, again, what's the point?
I think the social, it's kind of hard. You can't social distance in a bar.
No.
Okay. So.
Well, I mean, you can and you can't because.
Yeah, I mean, but you've given me the task
right.
to tell a person that's had 3 or 4 drinks,
yeah.
Hey, you got to be 6 feet apart.
Yes.
I mean, come on, realistically.
Also, let's say we're going to the bathroom. We're going to pass each other.
Yeah.
Or in the bathroom alone,
yeah.
You've got at least 3 stalls. Yeah. So how are you supposed to do that?
Yeah, and then you come to a bar to socialize.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know, and with all the stipulations he was enforcing, I understand some of them, but
right.
some of them you just can't control.
Right.
You can't. It's literally impossible unless I hire a group of individuals just to strictly enforce those rules. But those are not my rules.
Right.
I have no right to tell somebody what they can and cannot do.
Right.
And at the same time, don't hold my business accountable for people's actions.
Right.
That is not what I opened up a bar for. So why do you have to put me on that level and say, okay, well, I'll let you operate, but you have to operate under these restrictions. Mm-hmm. Not only do you have to enforce them, but if you don't enforce them, I'll have TABC to check on you.
Yeah.
And if you're not enforcing them, then we'll fine you, and then we'll just suspend your liquor license for 30 days.
Right. Which, again, doesn't help anybody.
No. And then I reopen again, and then you come in and say, oh, well, you're still not up to code per my request, so we're just going to go ahead and fine you again, and then we'll just go ahead and pull your liquor license for 60 days. Mm. So it's like a lose-lose
right.
for every bar owner, pretty much. I mean, no matter where you're at.
Yeah.
If you're not selling food, and if you're strictly 51% alcohol, you're in a position that your hands are pretty much tied behind your back.
Yeah.
You know, and we literally, when we were open, I was a nervous wreck. I was making sure that there was sanitizer on each table.
Good. I
was making sure everybody was, you couldn't be at the bar, so I had to make sure that everybody was at least 6 feet from the bar.
Right.
When it came to the tables, again, I didn't understand the concept. He said no more than 10 people at a table. Okay.
Yeah.
So I can have 10 people at the table that are going to exchange whatever they're going to exchange.
Yep.
But if I have 10 people at the bar, are they not going to do the same thing?
Right.
You know, what's the point?
Yeah.
So, but we did everything we could, and even if we are allowed to open back up, like I said, he didn't really give us the chance to do the mask thing.
Right.
We were ready for it. I went and bought masks for the staff, and then I was going to give every patron that walked through the door, I was going to give them a mask if they didn't have one, because they were going to they would have to walk in with one, sit at a table, get served, and then they could take the mask off.
Right.
So I bought a ton of them, and I was like, you know what, let's just give everybody one the first time, and, you know, go from there. But we didn't get a chance to. I literally bought everything that Thursday, and he literally shut us down on everybody. So, and I was even gonna.
I was gonna say, I've seen the.
I mean, I was even gonna take temperatures at the door.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, I literally bought everything to get prepared for that.
Yeah.
And he didn't. I didn't get a chance to do it.
Yeah, didn't even get a chance.
But that was just to enforce whatever he was gonna, you know, want us to do. And then at the same time, if TBC walked through the door, hey, this is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm protecting myself. I mean, I'm trying the best that I can. What do you want me to do?
Yeah.
So, but if you want me to be closed down, then, you know, support me financially.
Right. No, I mean, they need to have some kind of reimbursement.
You
if
know?
not, allow you to genuinely do liquor to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or drinks to go in general.
So our liquor taxes are due on the 20th of every month. So so for the month of June, for the short time that I was open, you know, I still got to pay those taxes.
Yeah.
I have to pay them. There's no extension. There's no. Don't worry about it. Catch us next month.
Right.
No, they're due on the 20th. If they're not paid on the 20th, they're gonna charge me late fees.
Right.
And that's where I kind of draw the line, because I'm like, okay, I still got to pay the electric bill, still got to pay the water bill.
Yep.
You know, I still got to pay the rent.
Yep.
You know, give me some type of financial assistance beyond what's being offered.
Yeah.
And kind of give me an option to kind of prolong my life of the business.
No, you're right.
You know, because you can't sell the bar.
Right. Yeah, who's going to buy it?
Who's going to buy it?
Yeah.
You know, I take a loss on it maybe, but realistically, nobody's going to buy a bar right now.
No.
They're just going to wait.
Right.
Until you can open the doors, and then swoop in and take over.
Yep.
So that's your dilemma. So we'll just milk it and just go from there, brother.
There we go.
That's all I can do.
Yeah.
But we will be back. Our doors will open again. Like I said, it's been my lifelong dream, and I'm not going to let, you know, no disrespect intended, I'm not going to let the governor or this virus keep me from opening my doors.
Right.
It's, you know, there will come a time to where I'll be able to open my doors again. And if that comes with restrictions, then so be it.
Right.
I'd rather be open than not open.
Right. Because, like you said, you want to give people that place to go. You want to give people that extra home that, you know, whatever's happening at work, they can come here to vent about it. Whatever's happening at home, they can come here vent about it. And people need that. They can't keep just being cooped up on a regular basis, because it's just not good for your brain.
No.
And people need to be around each other and have that kind of energy. Even if you're an introvert, come sit at the bar, drink by yourself, don't talk to anybody, but you're needing to go somewhere to kind of just vent out or just be somewhere else.
And, you know, sadly, sometimes this is the only place for somebody to go.
Exactly.
You know, I have regulars that are here 7 days a week.
Yep.
This is their home. This is where they congregate. This is where they have their friends, build relationships with people. This is all they got.
Yeah.
They don't have. They go home to nobody. There's you know, this is just we're their family.
Right.
Away from home. So, you know, I got a great staff. My bartenders are phenomenal. Everybody just kind of loves everybody here and just kind of gets along. And that's what I want my establishment to be, and that's the way it will always be.
Good.
And I'm just hoping, you know, I'm just waiting, for that announcement from Governor Abbott saying we're going to open up everything and we'll have restrictions and so be it. But until then, we'll just keep pushing on, man.
That's all I can
do. And I'm still going to have my live local music. But being closed, I have looked at some other venues. I have seriously thought about and looked at putting a kitchen in here.
Okay. Yeah.
So
I mean, there is room back there.
I got room back there for it. I can do it to where it's not going to open me up anytime, any quicker.
Well, plus you'd have to do the whole construction anyway.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. But I've gotten the okay from the landlord, and I'm looking into that right now, just to kind of build for the future, but at the same time maybe be prepared just in case this happens again.
Right. Because we haven't even hit the flu season yet, so who's to say those numbers aren't going to completely spike?
Yeah, and then if I have a kitchen, and I'm crossing that 49% line, I can become a restaurant/bar and grill.
Right.
So you know what? You can serve your liquor and food to go.
Also, none of the dive bars over here really are doing that either. So
no, and that's probably because I don't know. Maybe they just don't have the room,
right? Or they just may not want to even deal with it.
Yeah, but what I did to buy the place, I'm here for the long term. Yeah. I'm not here for the short term. So I got a 10-year lease, Bubba. I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. So I need to make sure that my doors, continue to stay open.
Yeah.
For the near future and beyond.
Right.
And if that means I have to put a little kitchen in here to make some bar food and keep the doors open, if this happens, continues to happen, then I'll do it.
Okay.
That's a loophole.
Yeah, I got an idea that I thought about last night that I was talking to some people, and I'll tell you about this after the interview, about the food and how you can probably spike some of those numbers. Mm-hmm. But we'll talk about that here in a minute. So, besides food and obviously more music, once you guys do open, what can people look forward to from Old Cocktail Lounge?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Because obviously, like you said, you signed a 10-year lease, and we're 2 years into it. So
2 years into it.
Nothing happens overnight. So
no, I would love to expand my parking.
Parking is a bit tricky here. If you don't know to park in the back,
that is probably my biggest hurdle. I would like to eventually add on a patio.
Okay. Yeah.
It won't be as luxurious and as big as some other bars, but I think if I were to, once I get all that figured out, I can do that and maybe have some live music outdoors instead of always having it indoors.
Right.
Get it to where you can have your drinks outside and just kind of enjoy the outdoor atmosphere, just as you would the indoor atmosphere at the bar setting. Other than that, man, continued great live music.
Right.
I miss all my local artists.
I do too.
I've had to reschedule, and I was looking forward to having some new acts that I had originally put on the calendar, and unfortunately I had to cancel and hopefully reschedule with them once we get an idea of a reopen date. But that's really what I'm looking forward to, and as far as my patrons coming back, just looking forward to a cold beer and a good time. That's pretty much it. But yeah, that's what I want to continue to do here. Just keep the music scene going. You have to. There's too much talent.
Exactly. The scene's blowing up like crazy around here.
Yeah, there's too much talent, and there's not a lot of people that get a chance to view that talent.
Right.
But yeah, that's what I want to continue to do. I know that's not a lot, but
hey, that's better than most.
It's something a little different, but yeah, that's the two things that I'm really working on right now is the kitchen and possibly in the near future also maybe getting a patio.
Yeah.
And expanding my parking.
There we go.
So Yeah, that's what I want to do.
Okay. So we have a segment on the show called the Tournament of Toppings. We're trying to find the best pizza in Arlington. What's your favorite pizza place in Arlington?
Oh goodness, man. I really haven't had pizza in a while. It's on the. I guess it's considered the west side of town. We used to eat there all the time. Oh my goodness.
West side of town. We're in the west side of town.
Well, east side of town.
Oh, east side.
On like the 360 and Park Row.
Oh.
Area. Oh man, you're putting me on the spot here. Jeez, just pause it. Little Italy.
Ah, Little Italy. Okay. Yeah.
Little Italy. I had to. Yeah, Little Italy is going to be the spot for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good pizza.
Great pizza, great food.
So, if people want to follow your adventures of the Old Cocktail Lounge, which, by the way, how did you come up with the name the Old Cocktail Lounge?
That was the previous owner.
Well, what? Okay. So you just.
Yeah, I kept it all the same. It was working.
Yeah.
It was things. I mean, things were really thriving for us, and I just kept it that way. I kept the momentum going.
Yeah.
Until COVID.
Yeah. Why redo it if you don't have to?
Yeah. If it's working, why redo it?
Right.
So yeah, the previous owner named it that, and
Okay.
I said, man, it's working. I'm keeping it.
But if people want to follow you guys on social media and follow your adventures, how can they do so?
They do so on Facebook.
Okay.
Just pull up the Old Cocktail Lounge via Facebook, and then that'll show you our page, what we got going on, all our updates.
Right.
I constantly keep it updated, even though we're shut down. I kind of throw something out there, let everybody know what's happening. All our live music, all our specials. Things of that nature. So what I did is during the first shutdown is what I love so much. I reached out on our Facebook page, and I asked everybody that came to pay us a visit. They took a photo, they took a selfie, they did whatever, hanging out at the cocktail lounge, for them to send me that photo.
Oh, awesome.
So what they did is they sent me the photo. I received close to maybe 500 photos.
Wow.
That's probably that's not all of them.
Right.
That's just what I've been able to build so far. So what I did is I made a Facebook, or not a Facebook, I made a PowerPoint presentation. And then what I was going to do, basically, it was very time consuming, but I mean, I had plenty of time to do it. So what I did is I had everybody send me their photos, and then this is just kind of an introductory type deal.
Yeah.
So I literally made a presentation to a certain extent.
Yeah. Wow.
So what I did is I made a template for all the bands that come in,
right?
All the photos of regulars, people that come in and visit. Every now and then they sent me photos, and I downloaded them. It's like 100 templates, all photos, and then basically what I uploaded it to a USB, and so when people come in, I have the TVs around the bar.
Right.
It'll play the presentation.
That's really awesome.
So I'm gonna add on to it now that I have time.
Right. Yeah. That's
when people come in and they see their beautiful face on the TV, and it's kind of just share your memories.
Right. Exactly.
Type of deal.
Yeah.
The whole cocktail lounge.
Well, essentially, you have a giant digital picture frame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
And it just rotates through all the pictures.
It just recycles.
Yeah.
So, and then I'll add on to it as we get new faces, and even the old faces will send me new photos.
That's awesome.
So once we get back over, that'll be something to look forward to.
Yeah.
So hopefully soon.
Well, great. Thank you for your time, and I very much look forward to this place opening up again.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Well, we're here with Jennifer Hurley of the Arlington Foodies Facebook page, the Arlington Foodies Farmers Market, and co-op, all kinds of stuff you've got your hands in. How are you today?
Doing great. Thanks for having me.
Great to have you back. So one of the things that we wanted to talk about was the farmers market. Have you been able to have any since COVID began? And if you did, how did it go?
I have, and we had our June. We were closed March, April, and May, which definitely hurt us. But, I know we're not the only ones that are hurting through all this, but we were allowed to have June. Tentatively, we are allowed to have our July 25th market. We're hosting now at Bicentennial Park, which is in Pantego off of 3206 Smithberry Road. We're an evening market now from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. I say evening, it's actually a sunset market. But our last market, we had 58 people, or 58 vendors, and it looks like we're going to have that and maybe a few more at this July market, unless Abbot shuts us all down.
So are people wearing masks at the farmers markets?
Absolutely. All of our vendors are wearing masks. We had a really good turnout of people showing. I would say we were probably at 50% of what we expected from comparing February at New Main Brewing, which now we've moved. We probably had about a 50% turnout, which is what I expected with all of it didn't help that 24 hours before our June market, we were shut down. All bars were shut down again, and the reins were tightening again. So, but yeah, I was pretty happy with 50%. I still even had vendors that sold out at the market. So, it's still a great market. We've got our social distancing in place. All of my vendors wore face masks. We have 3 washing stations for people to wash their hands as they're passing. And that's not just our vendors, that's actually people on site. We've made requirements that all of our vendors, they have hand sanitizing solution on site. Everybody's bringing their Lysol wipes, and 6 feet is definitely required. We set up our booths to have at least 7 to 10 feet in between each tent. So everybody's kind of been following protocol. We had the fire chief and the police chief for Pantego was out there at the market the entire time, and they were pretty happy. They gave us a positive review, and the emergency department gave us a positive review for Pantego. So we're green lighted for July, and we're just looking forward to being able to have it, and hope it's going to be a success.
All right.
Awesome. Talking about masks, we did see that you were selling filtered masks. I think your mother was making them. Are you doing that? And if so, where can people find those?
Yeah, we are still selling. I have them. They're $10 a piece. They come with the filter. But I'm not just doing the masks. I'm also doing, I had consignment with Claudia Perkins. I say consignment, really. I just bought a whole bunch of masks from her. She's not doing masks. She's actually doing the shields, the clear shields that cover you from eyes below the mouth. Okay. Which was great for my farmer's market. If I had just had to have worn the mask for 9 hours, I don't know that I could have made it at my last market. 9 hours and 93 degrees with 80% humidity. Boy, I was suffering already. And then to have a mask over my face, being asthmatic, that would have been extremely hard for me. So the face shields were a godsend, and they were so comfortable. I didn't even realize I had them on, and I tried to take a drink from my straw like 3 times and just slapped myself with the face mask in front of me. But yeah, there's all kinds of solutions. There's all types of different face masks, and the shields are, like I said, they're just a godsend.
So you run the Arlington Foodies page on Facebook, and there's a demand for the culture around the page for one of building community and helping local business. How have you noticed an increase in negativity as the lockdown has progressed, and how difficult is it to kind of moderate a page like that?
Well, I've got some great moderators on my board. So moderating isn't hard. The question of what should and should not be moderated, I think, is the big one. I try. It's hard for me, but I try to be apolitical as I can. And on my Facebook group, I definitely don't want any politics on it at all for the Arlington Foodies. I think that the more we dig into being political, the more we cause dissension and splitting up of groups and people always like to cut hairs. So we try and eliminate any of the politics whatsoever. But right now it's been very, very tough for us. Even just the battle between, even masks are a political conversation.
Right.
And everybody wants to be a watchdog for which restaurant is having masks on and which restaurant is not having masks on. And that's one of the topics that we just don't allow on our group, because it's divisive, and we don't want to be divisive on the Foodies. We really just want to help support these small local businesses, and by smearing their name, it doesn't help them.
Okay. Yeah, no, I totally understand that. And people are also just on edge right now more than they ordinarily are. They don't have much to do a lot of times.
Yeah.
So arguments might not have been something that they would do ordinarily, but now they've got time on their hands, and you know how that goes. So how is the co-op going? Is it getting more popular during the lockdown?
Yeah, we went from every other week to every week now. I've got 36 people on one group and 24 on another group. We definitely keep our social distancing. Everybody wears a mask. I have people wait, only one person in the greenhouse at a time. Everybody wears their masks. Before they even enter the group, I have a little hand washing station where they must wash their hands before they walk in. I think that people really appreciate that. Personally, for me, my biggest worry right now with everything shut down and with COVID is grocery stores. And I know they say the Texas Medical Association says they're number 3 on the scale. But for me, I think that if you're walking through one of these small aisles and somebody's not wearing a face mask and they cough near you or at you, you're susceptible. If they cough on that box of cereal that's been sitting there for how long, and you pick it up, suddenly you've got the germs on your hand. You wipe your nose or you take your mask off, and then what do you have on your hands? So I worry about grocery stores and being on site. In fact, we've not really stepped foot into a grocery store since all of this happened. We've been doing everything Instacart, and then when everything comes to my house, we spray it all down before it even comes into our house. I've got a kid that has asthma. I have asthma. So we really have just really gone to the nth degree to take precautions in our home. But I think that's one of the great things about having this co-op is one of the main things that you have is all this fresh produce and all these people walking around it, not having their coverings and now they are supposed to have their coverings, but even still people are deliberately not wearing them. Just because everybody has their own fight. Some people say that it doesn't work, it doesn't help. Some people say that it absolutely does. And, people have their own mindsets on it. So I like to have my own precautions on site. So
makes sense. No, I know Daryl's been raving about the co-op because he's been, since the start of his garden has been picking up and he's been trading and so forth. So if people did in fact want to find information about the co-op, like what items are available and find others who want to trade, how can they do so?
Well, yeah, like I said, we're full right now. We have a full list and we have a waiting list, but they can go to arlingtonfoodies.com and find out more information about it. We're always accepting people on our waiting list because people's circumstances and situations change. Maybe they're not interested in the co-op anymore and they'll leave. And then we're always filling in spaces. So go in, sign up at arlingtonfoodies.com. As far as what's available every week, I have a group on Facebook, and that's how we talk to people and tell them what we're having. If you go to Arlington Foodies Produce Co-op, and co-op has a hyphen in between the O's, that'll take you to our group. Come on in, check it out. You can see what we have every week. We work with several local distributors. One is Chef's Produce is a big one. Hardee's is another. And then we've actually got Maggie's Farm, and Pasture Fresh Farms is another one that we're starting to pull stuff in. But I also work with local backyard ma and pa people, you know, like I had a lady come in and bring it's called trumpet squash. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it's like this particular squash. One of them that I received was about it had to be like 3.5, 4 feet long, and it's just something that you don't find in a grocery store anywhere. Trumpet squash, you know. Armenian cucumbers was another one, and then I did a trade out with Daryl for some of his tomatoes, his cherry tomatoes that he had in his backyard. So tomato jam, Billy beans, coffee. These are just a few of the local vendors that we try and support that are around us. Any opportunity to support local small businesses, that's where I am, and that's what I'm trying to do.
That's perfect. I do believe we've seen obviously more people ramping up their gardening skills if they even have any, and then people are growing stuff at home, and I think it's great.
Yeah, I know. I was making bread. That's not something I would never ordinarily do, but I had time, and at that point there was no bread to be had in the store, so I just started making bread. So
for a minute there, it was hard to even find yeast.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. I managed to buy quite a bit, but
we still got bulk at the house.
Yeah, we have bulk flour because that was hard to find, I bought up a bunch of that. So I guess I was part of the problem. But I'm sure all were part of some kind of problem during all of that at some point. So kind of circling back to the farmers market, are you planning to keep that at Bicentennial Park?
Yeah, I think they're really happy with us over there. We got glowing reviews from the HR and from all parties that attended. I think our vendors really loved it. I had a few of my vendors that came up and said, I didn't think we were going to find a better place than New Maine Brewing. And here at this park, it almost had like a carnival feel. The way you walk it, it's just this big, beautiful circle with all these lovely shade trees. And, I always say that Bicentennial Park in Pantego is like the crown jewel of Pantego. So to be there is just such a blessing for us. We have been approved for alcohol, but that won't happen until after all of the restrictions for the bars and the restaurants are lifted. Once that happens, Dr. Jekyll's going to come in and they're going to support our alcohol requirement or needs for that market. So that was also a blessing. That's not something that Pantego does just for anybody. They really have to trust you and believe that you're responsible enough to handle something like that. So we felt very blessed.
That's amazing. So what has been some of your favorite takeouts that you've had during the lockdown?
Oh, Sunny Thai is always a great one. Beck's Needs a Pizza on Lamar. I think you guys know I'm an active fan of Beckham and his crew over there.
And still Old School's been also.
Well, sorry.
Is Beck's still your favorite pizza place?
Oh, of course. Okay. It was a battle between him and Old School. But each pizza is different. Like if you're looking for the New York style, I am always going to go to Beck's. His pan pizza is also really good too. But if I'm looking for like a Mediterranean pizza, I'm going to go to Old School.
Right.
So Sunny Thai, what else?
Yeah.
Oh, Danny's Big Burgers. That's the place over there off of Cooper and Park Row. It used to be La Isla back in the day. They have a great Philly cheesesteak. Who else? Those are some of our top ones that are our go-tos. Mike's Taqueria is another one. Mm-hmm. They always seem to be able to get everything that we've required. Papaya Mexican Grill, that's forever going to be my favorite Mexican food restaurant in Arlington, so.
Yeah, I had a group on for them, and then COVID hit, and then they stopped being open for a little while, and I know they opened back up recently.
But they did. They're at 50% capacity, and they're also still doing their takeout, and they do delivery, I think, through DoorDash as well.
Okay. Very nice. So if people want to join the Arlington Foodies group or just kind of see what you guys are doing, where can they do so?
Well, just go on Facebook and you can find us at Arlington Foodies. Just type that in. You'll be able to find our group there. From there, ask all kinds of questions. If you want to just have information about Arlington Foodies, go to our website, arlingtonfoodies.com. We've got information about our co-op, about what the Arlington Foodies card is, because a lot of restaurants, I think, still support the Arlington Foodies card. We haven't made any in a while because we haven't had any swarms. That's one thing that has changed in our group. We used to do a value swarm, and we used to do a swarm choice award every month. And when COVID hit, we had to shut all that down because we're not trying to bring in a whole bunch of people right now. So that's been on hold. But I think Tin Cup was our last one.
I haven't been over to Tin Cup in a very long time, so I need to get back over there.
Oh,
Yep.
they're John Wayne.
I'm looking at your website right now. It's really well done.
Yeah.
It looks like anybody could find anything they needed to on here. So I really recommend that.
Awesome.
All right. Well, it was so good to talk with you again. We really appreciate you taking your time out for that, and that, we're able to disseminate the information about these events. And I really hope that you guys are able to do your next farmers market and continue to do that. I mean, it's outside, so
yeah.
At least there's that. And I hope you continue to support that.
Yeah, it should be fun. And I think it's going to be great. Like I said, I think all of our vendors really enjoyed it. And I think the people that were at our event, I think they really enjoyed it too. We do have a shuttle, and the shuttle is picked up at Chef Lynn's Express Donuts on the corner of Pioneer Parkway and Smithberry. There's a little corporate area called the Woods that is just west of Smithberry on the north side of Pioneer Parkway. You can park all throughout there, and then the shuttle will take you right to the park. So that's something that we didn't have for New Maine for a while, so we brought the shuttle back. Other than that, I just want to commend y'all. I mean, I listen to y'all's stuff all the time, and I just really appreciate everything that you're doing for Arlington and our greater Arlington area. So thank you guys for continuing to keep us informed.
Well, thank you. It's really great to hear that from you. And we will be in touch soon.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye. So much to our guest this week, Rob Lopez from the Old Cocktail Lounge, and of course Jennifer Hurley, a multiple guest of ours. She's
closing in on the jacket.
She's closing in on the jacket. Where are these jackets? I don't know, but we're gonna find them.
Oh, we're gonna find them.
So thank you so much for listening. We appreciate you guys. Hashtag us and all that crap, and
eat local, drink local, and
go rediscover your city.
Tag us and send those pictures over to us on Facebook, Arlington Citizen Media, Twitter, ATX Citizen Media. Tag us on Instagram, Arlington Citizen Media, and send those pictures the old-fashioned way. Email arlingtoncitizenmedia@gmail.com. Also go to our website, www.arlingtoncitizenmedia.com. Don't forget to subscribe and give those 5-star reviews of the downtown at Apple Music, Spotify, Google Podcast, and also hit us on SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, and YouTube.
All right, let's. That's.
Yep.